What's up YouTube? This is Dubmaster Kahn here, and you're tuned in to Kahn's Reggae Production Corner. Now in my last video, I showed you guys how to make a reggae tune in Logic Pro 10 using Logic's own instruments and Logic's own software plugins. This time around, I'd like to make another rhythm from scratch, but I want to use more real instruments, bass guitar, real percussions, and we're still going to use software drums just because I live in an apartment and I don't have a real drum kit. But at any rate, before we dive into drums, I want to talk a little bit about reggae theory. What makes reggae reggae? What are the rules of reggae? And I'm talking what makes reggae authentic, right? I'm obviously white. I'm not from Jamaica. I'm from San Diego, California, from a place called Claremont. That's why the shirt, Claremont Roots. Anyways, race, I feel, doesn't matter. Bob Marley was half black, half white, preached love, unity, so race has nothing to do with making good reggae. To be honest with you, the best Italian food I've ever had was made by Mexicans. And some purists might say, oh, well, he's a Mexican, he can't make true, authentic Italian food. And yeah, maybe he's not Italian, but maybe he can make really good pasta. Because what it boils down to, in my opinion only, is if you have the right ingredients and you spend enough time focusing and learning how to make Italian food and tasting and say what makes this Italian food versus what makes this another type of food, Mexican food, Indian food, whatever. If you do all those things, I feel you can make an authentic bowl of pasta, right? It's the same thing with reggae. If you listen critically to what reggae is doing in reggae music, and you practice, i.e. making reggae, working on recording, mixing, these kind of things, if you're a studier of reggae, then I feel you can make authentic sounding reggae. Now, there's a lot of arguments that could be had for that, but that's just my personal opinion. So before we dive into actually making a drum track and starting this song, let's talk about reggae theory, and more specifically right now, what separates reggae from, say, rock music, because I feel like they're opposites of the spectrum. I grew up listening to a lot of rock, and then I found reggae, and it was like, this is awesome, because it's so laid back, I love the vibe, there's something different about it at rock. Well, what is that? I think it boils down to the feel. Rock music is very robotic. Its emphasis is on the one. Right? Where reggae is halftime. So it'd be like instead of that's more rock. That second one was actually a little bit swingy, but you get the idea, right? It's halftime. But reggae, it's all about the pulse, right? That's what reggae is known for, is the feel. And what is that feel? Well, the feel is the swing that's in reggae. It's what makes good reggae and authentic reggae what it is. And it's influenced by the heartbeat. It's called the heartbeat rhythm. So if you were to listen to your heartbeat, it'd probably be faster than this, but this is like a typical, this is the vibe right here. This is the reggae vibe. Right, that's the heartbeat. And then the rhythm would be doing the opposite. It'd be like, chinka, 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 chinka. But it's not right? It's not perfect timing. It's dum dum, dum dum, not dun dun, dun dun. It's dum dum, dum dum. It's a little bit delayed on the second part. So that's what makes reggae, boiled down, that's kind of the foundation of what makes reggae reggae. Now, what are some of the unspoken rules of reggae? Well, I mentioned that rock music's emphasis is on the one. Right? It's always on the one. Right? I'm making silly sound effects, but reggae, the emphasis is on the three, which is the snare, right? That's the one drop, right? Typically played by Carly Barrett of the Wailers. It's where the kick drum and the rim shot of the snare are at the same time, and that's on the three, which really threw a lot of rock drummers off because they're like, where's the one? Well, the one was just a hi-hat most of the time. So when you're doing a fill, it's safe in reggae to have that crash and the kick and the snare all land on the three. That's one of the rules. The other rule I would say is don't do bop, 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 bop. That's like the most pop influence to reggae that there is. And also like long guitar notes on the one. Because, like I said, that's not reggae, that's rock. So there's a few things that I'm going to show you that are kind of don't do's if you want to make authentic reggae. But the whole point of this video is to encourage you to make good reggae music. So I'm going to try and stick more on the what to do and a little bit less of what not to do. Okay guys, let's jump right in. We're talking reggae drums now. And the style that I like most and the style I'm going to show you is like the rockers style, typical to kind of the early 80s, early to mid 80s. And so anyways, you see I got Logic opened up here and I got the EXS24 sampler up here, and I showed this on another video how you can set up multi-layered samples to their separate tracks so you can EQ and compress them. So check that video out if you haven't seen that already. But today I just wanted to stress the importance, if you cannot record live drums, which I cannot, that you get really good samples. There's a lot of really good samples out there available. So I'll try and link you to some in the video description. But anyways, recently my friend and colleague Jah Servant sent me some snare samples because he has a real snare, and he was just recording some for me for the video. And so here is a multi-layered sample of those drums, and these are raw. These are the like straight from him. So somebody asked me, how do you get that reggae like kind of roots radix snare sound? And Jah Servant sent me some pictures here that I will just find real quick. These two here. So this first one on the left here is his piccolo snare, and he's cut a hole in this rag here. This rag is to dampen the sound, and this mic is kind of positioned a little bit on an angle so that it doesn't pick up too much of like the resonance of the snare body, and obviously this is to dampen the snare, and he cut a hole in it so that when you whack the snare in the center, you still get the sound of the drumstick hitting the skin. So and then this is the bottom of the snare. He said to me that these snare wires are really tight for kind of a quick, crisp snare sound, and he put this rag around it so that all but I think 4 of these bottom ones are basically dampened by this rag here. And then as far as tuning goes, he said that he tuned the bottom head pretty tight, and then the top head
is what he used to shape the tone, I guess. So that's all the info I have on this snare, but let's dive in to starting a beat using this snare. I'm excited. So let's close this down. So anyways, I just started this up. This is similar to my last video. So here's the kick. There's the snare. It's a nice sound. And then these are the hi-hats here. And you can see how on the 1 here is where the kick is, and then the snare, like I said, is on the 3, right? So let's just listen to this. Okay. So what I'm hearing is the hi-hat is the loudest on where the skank will be. Ching, 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 right? And that's what you want. So it's like medium volume, low volume, loud volume on the 2, which is where the skank is in reggae. So to make this even a little bit, give it a little bit more swing, I'm just gonna highlight all these and I'm just gonna move it. I'm gonna make sure that the snap is turned off. I'm just gonna move it a little bit lagging, so it's a little bit like, listen now. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I'll make it more exaggerated. See, that's like too swingy, but that is a good groove. Okay. Now, let's talk about the drum roll, because drum rolls are super, super vital in reggae music. It's like at the beginning of almost every song is this awesome little drum roll. And so I'm just going to show you how to create that, the timing in the MIDI. So I'm going to try it freehand and then we'll fix it. Oop. I need to give myself a little bit more time. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Now, let's move this back over. So, that's pretty close, but it's not what I'm really wanting. So if you zoom in like I have, I just kind of play with the timing of this until I find it pleasing to my ear. So it should sound like, or something like that. These might need to be a little bit louder. And this, let's make it into a tom. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that sounds natural. And that's a really simplistic one. Excuse me. But we're talking reggae drums here. So, I mean, this loop alone is like the very simplistic. It's like a good starting point, right? Obviously, we're going to be adding a lot more to this, but I think for the rest of this video, we'll talk about shaping your drum sound. Okay, so now let's go back to the mixer here. Alright, so at this point here, there's no processing on the drums except for a little bit of gain, right? Just have extra gain on the snare because it was kind of a quiet signal. And then I've dropped down the hi-hat down 12 dB. So let's pull up one of my favorite plugins, the SSL channel strip, and listen to the difference on the kick when I turn this bad boy on. with it on, with it off. See how muddy it is? And it's just super focused now. So it's added some low end. It's taken out some 270 hertz, and it's added in some 3.7K, and everywhere after 6. So maybe that's a bit extreme, but I like the way what that's doing to the bottom end. It's tightening it up, right? So let's do the same thing with the snare. I got it already set up a little bit. And this is just a preset snare drum. So added some low end, took away a little bit of 800, added some top, took away a bit of this. So here's the difference. It's kind of, I mean, it sounds good, but I'm just changing it a little bit. More importantly than anything, I've gated it. So here's without the gate. Or sorry, let me turn this. Here's without the gate, and then with the gate. So it hasn't done a lot. Here's with it really gated. Doesn't really, honestly, I think Jah Servant probably already gated it, but yeah, no, the snare sounds good, honestly, on its own. So let's look at the hi-hat now. We'll add another one of those, and let's try a preset. Here we go, hi-hat. So I would say you hear the difference? That's with it off. Just brightened it up a bit. So yeah, that frequency I don't like, so I'm gonna kill a little bit of that. Without, with. So I kind of like that. It's got some mild compression going on, which is cool. Now let's listen to all three of these. Oh, this got some compression too. Yeah, I like that. How about this? Yeah, it's got some compression too. I mean, that's straight from the preset, right? All right, so now let's listen to these without any plugins. Well, that's bad because the gain helped me turn. Okay, so here's. So that sounds like crap to me, honestly. So that sounded a lot better already, right? We'll listen to the little roll. Honestly, this it's missing something. Maybe it's just got too much low end. I don't really know. I mean, that sounds good for now. So, yeah, let's. Gosh, what else can I talk about? Okay, so now we got this little. Oops. Okay, so now we have a drum roll and a little bit of a beat here going. Oh, toms. Yeah. So we're going to EQ the toms and everything. But what I normally do is I have an intro to the song. And so let's just listen. This needs to be louder. So at this point here, this is where I would say your intro roll would be. So let's add something. Actually, let's turn the tempo up a bit because this is kind of really slow. So let's listen to it at 130. All right, and let's add some more kick drums here. I'm just gonna join this. Okay. I like one there. So and there. Just to add a little bit of variation. Now this could creep forward a little bit. Same with this. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of swing. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I'm just going to double that. And then like I said, oops. Just going to paste that one. So at about like either here or here is when I will do it like a roll. So I'm just going to feel the vibe. So this is an intro. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna steal this roll. Okay. I'm gonna make that start on the 1. Yep. Ba-da-da-da. That's my dog. Yeah, that's good. Ba-da-da. Dum-dum, dum-dum. Okay. Just gonna paste that just so I can keep going. Join those. Oops, what did I do? I know right here I'm gonna put a crash. So I'm just gonna copy a kick and a snare, quantize those. So what do we got so far? Okay, I'm missing a couple kicks here. Okay, I'm looking for like a I'm not getting what I want. There we go. Okay, that's what I was looking for. There we go. That's sounding better. And then you can change some of the velocities of these. I'm gonna change this up. There we go. That's adding a lot more flavor. You can mess with the timing just so that it doesn't sound exactly the same. You know what I mean? Okay, I like that. Okay, so now we got a drum roll intro, a little bit of an intro, and then like an out, I don't know, an intro drum fill, I guess. Okay. Now I would say I'm going to try and EQ the toms a bit so that they sound good, because right now they're really too loud. So let's try some presets and see what happens, and then maybe go and change them up. Where is the floor tom? Here we go. Ooh, that sounds nice. Alright, so we're just gonna try, I'm just gonna duplicate this, bring it over, try the rack tom preset. I know it's gonna be really loud, but see, I would say that I would like the gate on this to close sooner. So maybe not that soon. That's kind of nice, just a hair sooner. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, and I'll say that they're still a little loud. This channel strip's really nice because it has its own volume fader on it too, so you can kind of change the output and not really mess with this gain here. Okay, let's listen to this drum fill again. Sounding pretty good. Let's work on the cymbal. I mean, I'm really honestly shocked that these presets sound so good. Normally I spend a lot more time on messing with them. So where am I? Channels, here we go. Let's try a cymbals one, or overheads, I guess you might call it. I mean, these cymbal samples are really good. They're real cymbals, so I might even compress it a little bit more. Yeah, let's listen to the difference. I just love how that compressor what it's doing is, and it's got like a slow release, so it's like almost squashing the volume of the cymbals, making it more dense, and then it's slowly releasing it. See how much longer the sample lasts than if I turn it off? Versus just, I love that. I love compressing the heck out of cymbals. I don't use a lot of compression on everything, but that to me sounds awesome. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna delete this. We've kind of EQ'd a lot of the stuff. Now let's send this to a bus. So now all of our drums are coming to this bus, and then we will, oops, I didn't mean to grab that one. Let's grab a compressor. This SSL one's real nice. And I usually do 30 attack with a quick. So in compression, it's all about the attack, release, and threshold. So 0.1 is like a millisecond. This is 30 milliseconds. So let's listen to the difference here. So it's gonna squash it. That's squashing it. I mean, now you can really hear it. So that's what the compressor is doing. And but if you put it to 1, it's gonna compress more because it's attacking quicker, right? And typically for really thumpy drums, see, this is what, to me, how they do rock drums. It's like overly compressed a lot of times. But for me, I like putting them as a slow attack time and only doing like maybe that much per. It's just way more thumpy. Let's listen to the difference. Oh, what am I doing here? I got this on the wrong track. My bad. I had it on the, well, it doesn't really matter, but it's on the drum bus now, so without, it's louder too. 8.5. Okay, so that's 12 dB. Okay, so this is actually the same, about the same volume. You hear how it just is thumping now versus there's no life to it. There's just no oomph. So when you put the compressor on, it just glues it all together. This SSL compressor is called the glue for a reason. So I mean, I think that sounds great. Maybe it's compressing a little bit too much. Maybe we'll turn it down a little. But that's nice, and I think we should EQ it also. Just sticking with the SSL theme here. I think we could do a little bit more highs. I'm just looking for frequencies that don't really sound good. Yeah, see that right there? What is that? 700? To me, that does not sound very good. So I'm going to take it a little bit of that out. Yeah. Not too much. Alright, let's listen to the difference in that. So this is on, I'm about to turn it off. It's subtle, but hey, I like it. I think it's better. I'm gonna turn off this and this, and we can listen to it. Yeah, maybe I will. There we go. So anyways, I think that's sounding a lot better now. And then what I would do is I would take this and I would loop it, and you know, then I would create them so that they're all ready to go on their own, separate. And then you can add drum variations, right? I mean, we're gonna add a lot more to these drums, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys how to take it from just a sample to give it a little bit of groove, to then doing some, you know, EQ and compression on this stuff. And I mean, I should almost take, I'm gonna take away everything so that you can hear the difference of what it sounded like before. Right, I'm just waiting for the tom fill. Okay, now let's listen to it with everything on there. I mean, and this is still dry. I haven't even added any reverb or anything. Let's do that. I'll set up a bus, and then I'm gonna grab a reverb. Yes, and this is my favorite one here. Medium Spring Reverbs Rack Mount Bright. And also on the drum bus, I'm going to set up a reverb, which I typically do so that so then it's like it emulates the drums coming out of a chamber, like being recorded in one room together. So now let's listen. Oops. And now that's obviously way too loud, but now, I mean, now I just put it in a room, right? Without, completely dry. With, it's pretty subtle. I have headphones on, I can hear it, but just to add a little bit of niceness, I'm adding some of this reverb here, this rack mount bright. I mean, that right there, that is just old school vibes in 1 second. And I usually like to add some kind of EQ also to this reverb, because I feel like it's a little too bright and it needs a little bit more like mid-range. There we go. That was a quick little trick. Put a little bit on the toms. Let's listen to that. That's a lot of reverb on the snare. it on my cymbal. I mean, that makes it a lot. A lot. Sorry. Just sweetens it up, right? So once again, I got this drum chamber reverb on the send track, and I should call this drums. And then this is the spring reverb track. All right. So I think that'll end this first episode. I know it's kind of been lengthy, but hopefully you've learned a bit about reggae theory. You learned a little bit about me. You learned a little bit about drums in general, and we will do more to these drums as we progress the song. It's just I wanted to start out with something that sounded already somewhat good. So the next thing we'll probably work on normally is the chord progression. So until next time, this is Dubmaster Kahn. If you like the video, subscribe, check out my other ones, leave me a comment, good or bad, indifferent, and have a blessed day. All right, until next time, peace.